that because of his sterling performance, he recontested in 2019 and was overwhelmingly re-elected for second term as governor.
The Kogi State Governor, Alhaji Bello, has won the Distinguished Friend of the Media and the Role Model Education Award. The award was conferred on him by the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ) for the massive transformation he has brought to the education sector and his cordial relationship with the media. The national president of the NUJ, Chris Ezeguzo, during the presentation at the State Government House, Asokoro, Abuja, said the governor was singled out by the award committee out of the 36 state governors after painstaking assessment of each state in the education sector.
Maybe most people don't know what is happening in Kogi State in that sector. This governor, since he came on board, started a university from the scratch, and today that university is about accepting the newest intakes of students, actually, and that's the Confluence University of Science and Technology. As we also speak, the governor has transformed the State Polytechnic. If you go there, it is said that seeing is believing. If you go there, you will see it.
Ezeguzo also commended the governor for not neglecting secondary and primary education, including prioritizing the welfare of workers.
As we speak, His Excellency the Governor has not abandoned primary and secondary education. He has constructed about 500 units of classroom blocks across the state. The governor did not also abandon existing blocks. He has rehabilitated about 600 of them. As we speak, if you look at the teaching staff in Kogi State and compare them, do a comparative analysis with their contemporaries in other states, the difference is like 7-up. The difference is clear. Oftentimes, political actors tend to confuse the role of the media. They see us from the prism of antagonists. We are institutional partners. Where a government has done well, it is our responsibility to acknowledge such achievement. Where the government has also not done very well, it is also our responsibility to challenge the same government and say, in this area, you've not done well. And that's why the Constitution, Section 22, reports the responsibility of holding government to account in the media. It is the media that must look at what they're doing. It's the media that must inform. It's the media that must educate. It's the media that must mobilize the people. And that's what we will not shy away from. We'll continue to do that. So many people may not understand what we're doing today, but it is something that we must have to do, because we must encourage the shining examples we have in the present democratic experiment. Because if we don't have them, we are not going to have our democracy survive.
The Vice Chancellor, Confluence University of Science and Technology, COSTECH, Professor Sadiku Salau, and a member of the House of Representatives representing Okenetu constituency, Tijani Damisa, said Governor Bello is a man of his word who only cares for a better Kogi State and the entire Nigeria.
We are robustly supported with resources. I was initially afraid what will happen. Suppose we start and I'm left in the doldrums. But now I am wiser. I know that he talks the talk and walks the walk. So thank you, Your Excellency. We also have an action order from His Excellency that we should start medicine in 2021-2022 academic session. We are working towards that. Of course, to show how practical he is, the reference hospital, which began in Okene some couple of months ago is to be upgraded to become a teaching hospital for our College of Medicine. Thank you, Your Excellency. Quite a number of my colleagues are still wondering whether it is true that we are starting our academic programs this month. But I told them to wait and see. Because when you, let me give you an advance information, sir. When you come for our matriculation, it's not going to be far from now. People will now know that Conference University of Science and Technology is a reality.
My brothers and sisters, in 2011, when I contested for these elections, for the post of a House of Representatives, His Excellency Bello was my major financier. As at that time, I'm not sure even if I asked him to come and join us, he would come. In 2015, he repeated the same thing. In 2019, all of us is the sole financier of all of us. Your Excellency, you are a good man. When I say you are a good man, it entails so many things. It entails so many things. So you cannot see less support from us. Yes, we had it. Let me put it this way, that we had it, that His Excellency, or people are calling Excellency, to come. The major, the deal, the whole thing is in the National Assembly there. If others are calling him to come, if he is a governor and we can experience, we can have all these, beautiful things around us, is it when he becomes a president that we will not, okay, we are waiting for him, sir.
Governor Bello appreciated the leadership and officials of the NUJ, promised to continue to guarantee the freedom of the press in the state. He said his administration will continue to welcome positive criticism.
We will continue to guarantee freedom of journalism or press in Kogi State. We are not perfect. We can't be perfect because perfection is for Almighty God only. No human being is infallible. I want to urge you that at any point in time you see us doing anything wrong, draw our attention to it. I've always said that criticism is good most of the time, especially constructive criticism. It will only whip us, with us, and mold us to do more.
Governor Bello also said he identified the development of the education sector as the key to high-level capital development needed for the emancipation of the people of the state.
Mr. President always emphasizes and tell me when I'm one-on-one with him, education, education, education. Education does not necessarily mean that we should build classes, employ teachers, give them everything. No. We should continue to educate ourselves by our words. We should continue to educate ourselves by our actions. In Kogi State, where I inherited a well-divided state along ethnic, religious, class, and several other lines. Today, by our actions, by our words, by what we preach and what we do, we have been so educated in Kogi State that we choose nothing other than unity. We have been able to educate ourselves that any nation who wants to have a future must be able to look inward and develop the younger generation. Any nation that wants to attain development and greatness, you must look inward and empower your women and ensure you bring out the best in them. we've been able to educate ourselves to that point, whereby today in Kogi State, our youth are no longer referred to as leaders of tomorrow, but we are leaders today. We have been able to educate ourselves, both young and the old, in Kogi State, whereby our leaders are advising us from the rear. Whatever we are doing wrong, they will quickly give us advice and we'll take correction. That education is exactly what we gave to ourselves, and we're still giving to ourselves. And you can see our youth are no longer taken to crime. You can hardly arrest any criminal within and outside Kogi State, and they are citizens of Kogi State. It's a lie. Kogi State citizens are now holding their head high. That is education. We've been so educated ourselves that when Ibraman sees Ikala man, Okun man, Oworo man, Nupe man, Kakandan, Basa, all of us, we no longer ask ourselves, are you come from this so senatorial district or this tribe, or are you a Muslim or a Christian? It is this education that bound us together, and today we look at ourselves as Kogite first before we think of where he comes from. That is education. It is that education that made us to be able to manage the little resources, balance the utilization, prudently manage the resources, and it cut across, and we're able to achieve the modest achievements so far, as enumerated by the rector, by the VC, and every other person. It is education. We've been able to so educate ourselves to realize that 1 naira can change a society. We educate ourselves to the point of securing our 1 naira. Then the millions took care of themselves. We're able to put it together to put the modest infrastructure you see today across Kogi State. That is education. Education have taught us that, look, all those serving in my cabinet must not take the state resources that does not belong to them. That is education. Education taught us to be trustworthy, because we realize that the office we are occupying today is temporary, and we are holding this position in trust for the people. And we realized that one day we shall be called to come and account for every of our actions. And that is why you see us in Kogi State flourishing, serving our people to the best of our ability, and sacrificing personally even to serve our people. My dear brothers, education so simplified the problems we inherited in Kogi State, which, as far as I'm concerned, is bigger and larger than the challenges we're facing today as a country. Because Kogi State have borders with 10 states, including FCT. I don't think Nigeria have borders with 10 countries. Kogi State, every season is prevalent and is present there in Kogi State. And our terrain supports anything you can ever think of. But education has with each and every one of us online. And like I said, you dare not attack or disrespect any citizen of Kogi State outside any longer.
He called on every Nigerian to join the leadership of the country to educate one another on how to build a better Nigeria where corruption and nepotism will become alien to the younger generation and generation yet unborn.
If we're educating ourselves well, leaders will lead well, and followers will follow well. If we are educating ourselves and we educate ourselves well, we will not instigate non-state actors to carry arms against the country. If we educate ourselves, you will not see any leader that will embezzle 1 naira, not to talk of millions, billions, or trillions. Because you will know that such monies, as you take it from the system, you are simply uneducating our people, and we are laying a foundation for crisis. If we educate ourselves as a country, we should be able to speak for Nigeria instead of speaking for regions. If we educate ourselves very well, we should be able to know that there is no natural nation. All nations are basically artificial. After all, we came to this world and we're not living here forever. We will leave. But how well did we leave this world? We should be able to reflect on history of other nations that have fought war and came out of it, and other nations that are still fighting war and that are in crisis today. If we educate ourselves well, if we educate ourselves well, we should be able to criticize our leaders constructively rather than pulling our country down, because we have no any other nation other than Nigeria. If we educate ourselves well, we should be able to know that what is obtainable in 1914 and 1960 is no longer obtainable now. If we educate ourselves well, we should know that it is just a mirage. Any day anybody is preaching division, you should know that we have so interwoven that Nigeria cannot divide again. We're so interwoven by way of marriage, investment, education, and several others. If we educate ourselves well, we should be able to look at ourselves and say, what can we do for this country? Just like you see these young men in Kogi State today, young women in Kogi State today, our leaders in Kogi State today are even proud of the young men that are leading in Kogi State. Because simply, we have educated ourselves to get united. As such, we should be able to replicate same in Nigeria so that we'll be respected not only in Africa, but across the world. If we educate ourselves very well, let me tell you, in 2020, the almighty year of COVID-19, we recorded the highest foreign direct investment in Kogi State. More than even Lagos. Because we educated ourselves well, we were able to position ourselves in such a way that one single COVID-19 didn't come to Kogi State. And because we educated ourselves well, the foreigners decided to bring over $1 billion and invest it in Kogi State. If we so educate ourselves well, we should be able to attract every investment into this country from abroad, rather than demarketing Nigeria. If we educate ourselves very well, we shouldn't be fighting each other. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the time has come, as young men, as leaders, as women, as Nigerians, we must look into each other's eyes and tell ourselves the bitter truths. It is only the truth, sincerity, and uprightness that is going to save us from where we are today. Not politics, not name calling, not dragging the name of Mr. President into the mud. After all, he won his first and second term, and he will soon leave the stage. But Nigeria will remain. I want to believe that the opportunity of reinventing rediscovering new Nigeria is just ahead of us, where we are going to have a great nation, the real big brother of Africa, the most populous black nation, and the real home for the black race across the world. That opportunity is just ahead of us, where green passports will be given free entry and exit anywhere in the world. That opportunity is here. It is incumbent on each and every one of us to make the right choice. And I know that when the time comes, Nigerians will make the right choice. My dear brothers and sisters, education, like I said, cannot be overemphasized. Let's ask ourselves, at what point did we get it wrong? If we don't know where we're headed, we should know where we're coming from. At what point the free education that Zeke gave to us, then at what point it became this very expensive, unaffordable, and our out-of-school children or population is rising. Putting all of this together with the support of our journalists, our reporters, whether conventional or from the social media, with all your support and synergy, harness, meet the people that are objective. We know them in this country. We have them in leadership. We have them in followership. By the time we put all of our acts together, reorientate ourselves, and preach Nigeria instead of where you come from, religion, or the class you belong to, I believe that we're going to have a nation, a country that we'll be proud of. Please, don't be tired. I know a lot of our journalists have been persecuted, have suffered in the hands of some people that are uninformed, either in leadership position or as followers. But that is the price we have to pay for nation building. That is the sacrifice we need to sacrifice. Let us all do the sacrifice together so that we can have a nation to be proud of. And I know that Nigeria is going to be great.
The president of the NUJ, Guzo, added that the special event is to complement the World Press Freedom Day, earlier marked on the 5th of May by the association. In the entourage of the NUJ are the executive members and the president of the National Association of Women Journalists, NUJ, Ladi Bala.
Highest fall. Every battle you won, I am who you crown me,
Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Confluence Chronicles, to always get our updates.